I want to talk to how your emotional baggage is running your business, not you. And when you think about this, most women think that strategy is what's actually scaling their business or sabotaging their business. But what is really running the show, when you think about it, is your emotional baggage, your unprocessed need for control or approval or freedom. That is what is running the business. So this can be really simple, but it can be, if you've experienced launching before and you experienced it flopping and you feel like it's because of the strategy or the algorithm or some kind of systems or ops or whatever the story may be. But at a core level, it could really come down to your nervous system not feeling either safe to be seen, or there may be a story around not feeling worthy or worth whatever it was that the goal was for that launch to be. And it can be so sneaky where the reality of the world would show you all the evidence to back whatever story is coming up for you. But really what I want to dive into today is the importance of processing emotions. And I'm talking about all emotions, because when we're not processing the emotions, it is going to be stored in the body. And there's still going to be a level of residue of that being activated in the business, because what I see lots of women go through is where they've processed stuff from their childhood, when it comes to their personal relationships. And then there's like another layer that unfolds when they get into business. So really at the root is a kind of childhood need that is showing up or being activated in the business. So, for example, you may find yourself feeling like this need for control, like controlling the outcomes, controlling how things are done, controlling maybe how you perform or present yourself. You may find yourself performing for approval or performing because it makes you feel like you're in control. And that makes total sense if maybe you grew up in chaos, right? Or you sway to the other side of control. And this was definitely me. So I'm saying this with a lot of love because this was me and still is to a part. I have to catch myself when I fall into this desire to really want to over control the outcome of something. But that awareness is really key. When you understand that that has a tendency to arise, then when you notice that pattern come up again, you can actually mitigate it. Another route that may be showing up in business is this need for approval. And this can be rooted in learning from a young age that love was earned. So you had to prove yourself or get these accolades or achieve things in order to experience receiving love. And so now that can show up in business as overgiving or fearing rejection or doubting your ability to ask for maybe a higher investment price from the people who are coming into your world. Another little root cause could be freedom. And again, I really resonate with this one. This can come up like this desire for freedom in the business, and maybe actually the core reason why you started a business can be rooted in the experience of when you were a child, feeling trapped, stifled. And so you can then pendulum swing to the other side of now avoiding structure and commitments ultimately. And again, I say this with so much love because that was definitely me. And to a certain point, I'm still working through some of those things. So let's talk to the pattern and how it actually shows up in business. So this can be as simple as saying yes when the body says no. It can be choosing structures around pricing that feels like it would work for them. And maybe you're not even charging a fraction of what you know you could be because it feels uncomfortable. Like, who am I to charge this in order to be doing what I love or to be being of service in the way that I want to? I know a lot of women in the healing space, therapeutic space, that have a lot of guilt around charging for what it is that they offer their clients. It can also look like over preparing for launches and feeling like there's a sense of overwhelm because it can feel incredibly uncomfortable and unsafe to receive. And maybe there's a story about the ease of which that gets to actually happen as well and drop in for you. It can also be reacting from urgency or defensiveness, or going into people pleasing when there is something that comes up with a client or something that comes up with an employee. Something goes down with an employee and you feel this desire to avoid the confrontation or avoid the conflict because it feels really uncomfortable within your system to set a boundary or to say this is a no without over explaining yourself. Or it can be simply getting defensive, right? And backtracking and over explaining yourself when a client complains about something. There can be this resistance to rest and a guilt around resting. I see this a lot with women who are constantly overgiving to everyone else, their children, their partner, their employees, their clients, and they feel so guilty when they actually just take a moment to do what feels nice for them, or simply rest when their body is exhausted because they've been working like crazy. And that's a really huge piece, is like feeling safe to receive, feeling safe to rest, feeling like you can actually just allow yourself to really drop in. So I want to talk to the cost of this disconnection, because it's not just going to affect the business, it's going to knock on in all parts of our life, because we don't do compartmentalizing our life very well. And it's not actually about living that way. It is about feeling so connected with yourself, really honoring yourself, knowing what it is that you stand for, knowing that you've got your own back. So what is the cost of this disconnection? It can ultimately destroy self-trust. When we're prioritizing other people and we're abandoning ourselves, you're overriding your intuition continually with logic, right? So intellectually you can get something, or intellectually you may rationalize something, but you're not honoring what is true for you. What is in your body? What is the emotive experience? What is wanting to run through your system to be processed? So when we ignore that, we disconnect, it erodes self-trust and intuition. It also really massively dulls creativity, because where do you think creativity comes from? It's from being in contact with yourself, being open, feeling safe within yourself to really explore and be curious. And that's what happens when fear runs the show instead of innovation. It can also lead to multiple burnout cycles. Again, I've spoken to this at such length in other podcasts around burnout cycles, but it's because you're operating from survival ultimately, and you're not listening and you're not processing the emotions. And so we can intellectually move past things that have happened in the past, but the body is on a different level. And if the body hasn't had time to process it, or even just had the space to process it, because it's just been continually, everything's just been shoved down, numbed out, it is going to rear its head. And it will be physical, because if you're not listening, then quite often it is physical. And it makes leadership feel like performance, because you're never fully in your power. And this is a huge one. It's like the way that you lead is who you are as a woman. Yes, you're multifaceted. Being a leader doesn't mean like being this like dictator, like controlling person. Being a leader as a woman is all the things, is being nurturing, is being creative, is being in that curiosity, is being the visionary, is being that mystic, and is also has the fire of someone who has that warrior energy that is like, no, this is a no. This is what we stand for. This is what we value. This is the direction that we're moving in, and bringing all of yourself into that space. So let's talk about the shift and how do you actually lead from a place of safety, not survival? Because believe it or not, it will be felt and there will be ripples out in all areas of your life when you lead from your own power and from that regulated, safe place versus survival. Because healing isn't about overanalyzing your past and getting stuck there. It's about noticing, what is your body doing right now? When things come up in your business, how are you responding to it? What is activated? What is present? And really, the best thing to do is, as things are fresh, hold the space, create the space to process it, to feel it, to emote it, to move it, and to allow it to actually run through your system without the intellectual mind disrupting it ultimately by having a story or a judgment or a criticism about it. It's really about undomesticating your body so you can just allow yourself to feel whatever fire is coming up, whatever activation is coming up. That is the gift in the moment. So really prioritizing moving things in the morning, yes, but in the moment. And if you want any guidance or frameworks around how you can actually start to move things somatically in a really safe way, again, comment, let me know. Happy to do a video on that. And it is noticing, starting to track somatically what is present in your body in different environments. Is there tightness in the chest? Is there aching in the lower back? Is there clenching of the jaw? You noticing things in your body before you're going into a situation that may be challenging, like having a difficult conversation or getting onto a sales call, or when you talk about how much the investment's going to be. Notice and track what is present in your body and begin a dialogue with that part of your body and get curious around what is the story there, what is there for you. Because it's all gifts if we're willing to actually just be with it from neutrality without any judgment, any stories about it. And then start with nervous system regulation work. This is everything that I teach. Learn to track safety versus activation in your body. Notice what the differences are. Notice what actually creates safety for yourself. Rebuild trust with your voice on all levels in all areas of your life. Learn to trust when something feels like a no, that you vocalize it and you say it's a no without needing to over-explain yourself. Regulate before you respond. This is huge. It's not about expressing your anger out to someone. It's about cultivating a space where you can process the anger and then you can be so grounded and so in your power, but also this centered, calm energy where it's like there's fire there, but it is contained. And people feel that energy really powerfully. And then you can speak really clearly, really concisely, without allowing the emotion to like overload or overstimulate your system, where you can feel like you're like sweating or maybe trembling going into a conversation. It's like rooting down, grounding in, and then speaking your truth with clarity. So, as you can tell, lots of fire comes up in me when I'm talking about this topic, so I'm really, really passionate about it. This is the path to embodied leadership, and this is so important. And I promise you, there are so many people who really are in leadership roles that create a lot of chaos. And when you're a leader who is regulated, you will magnetize the most incredible people in your life. who will want to be in proximity with you because you create this safe harbor where they actually know exactly where they stand with you. They know exactly what the expectations are. There's no swampy energy about anything. There is just like clarity. And that's magnetic. So, wishing you the most beautiful day. I'm wishing you the most beautiful weekend ahead, and I will be back on Monday. Sending you so much love and look forward to reading your comments. Let me know if you want to practice, and don't hesitate to reach out to me on Instagram, simonewhiteman.co, and send me a DM. Okay, speak soon. Bye.